same brothers.
When we talk about free movement, because it's good that we let people, Nigerians and other West Africans who are watching understand. Does it mean that I can just come to a border because I'm from Niger and Ghana is part of West Africa? I just walk into Nigeria, or are we looking at the fact that there must, because you mentioned the aspect of documentation, because it's important also to let the people know that there's a need for documentation, or is ECOWAS saying, look, free movement, when you get into Nigeria and then you're stopped by immigration, you just say, I'm from Ghana, and that means, okay, you are ECOWAS.
I think we should qualify.
Yes, you need to qualify, and then also looking at the fees, because I know that recently even the Nigerian immigration came out to say that if you are in the country for some periods and you are not probably documented, you could be fined for some certain amounts, depending on the number of days that you've stayed, or you would have been noted or recorded to have stayed without proper. So let's clear.
Well, I hope that our citizens, first of all, what we're discussing. Every time we say things and we talk about the protocols, what it means is we have to work in the confines of giving laws.
Yes.
So to qualify, I would say legal free movement.
Legal free movement.
I would say legal free movement. Okay. I do not expect. Now, you see, we're trying to harmonize the documentation. In other words, for a Nigerian or for a Sierra Leonean or a Senegalese to be in possession of a harmonized travel document that has been designed with all of the security features agreed on by the member states. Now, ECOWAS has a unit that has to do with security. We are not going to allow movement at the expense of our general security. This is very important. And free movement does not support insecurity. So what we're discussing is legal movement of people. If a Liberian shows up in Nigeria with a valid travel document, it should dawn on the Nigerian security, or the reverse is true with other countries, that first of all, I'm interacting with my brother, and we expect that those who are in authority to issue travel documents themselves will do it with a high degree of transparency and professionalism. Because once a Ghanaian security sees a travel document issued from Nigeria, there should be no reason why they should doubt it. There should be no reason why they should doubt it. And I do not expect, ECOWAS doesn't expect, that one member state will give other member states reasons why they should doubt travel documents issued in the individual countries. So we expect that the member countries will all help in their individual operational areas to protect and present ECOWAS to the world as a safe zone, but also as a zone that is fighting to protect image.
Yes.
A news coming out of Nigeria that somebody came from Liberia with a 40 travel document, or a Liberian security issue a criminal a travel document in a bid of aiding and abetting criminality, the news is not just going to be in West Africa. It goes outside. So one of the jobs that we have to do as the people, as we come together as a community, is to do everything possible to make sure that ECOWAS is presented as a serious region.
In good light and
in good light.
Mr. Massaquio, let's move to the issue of infrastructure now. If we must achieve free movement of persons and goods, we have to have the infrastructure in place in terms of bridges, road network. What is being done in that aspect?
We have a unit with the Commission that is responsible for infrastructure. Just yesterday, we were in a budget discussions, and you can see the different numbers that are assigned to the different specialized agencies on ECOWAS. Today, ECOWAS is just with the corridors between Niger and Nigeria, between Burkina Faso and Niger, Liberia and Sierra Leone, of course, Ghana. There are a lot of, to be conservative a little bit, I'm sure it's more than 4 major projects, just in terms of road connectivity.
You want to quickly list the 4?
Well, take the Minor River region. That's Liberia. That's Liberia. That's Guinea. That's Sierra Leone, and then Gambia, and Senegal, Ghana, and Togo. Those are major corridors. Cote d'Ivoire. Now, don't forget, Cote d'Ivoire is major in terms of cocoa production. So what ECOWAS is trying to do is to connect those roads so that it is not just movement of people. I talked about skills.
Yes.
So it is common knowledge to know that the people in Cote d'Ivoire will have more knowledge on growing cocoa, so they have to move across. And the goods that are produced in one region can move across. Those corridors, I'm sure in 1 year, I probably can drive from Liberia and come to Abidjan without flying. Of course, the situation on the roads is one thing to make the roads. There's one thing to improve the security situation along the corridor. So ECOWAS is involved with a lot of infrastructure in terms of roads, electricity across the borders.
Let's talk about the issue of the single currency. 2022, is that feasible? Still feasible? What's Parliament? What's happening with the currency?
This has been a major challenge, and coming from the Parliament, I would like to be very blunt with this to say that, unfortunately, as a commission, the community has changed the goalpost on this more than 4 times in terms of setting the dates and coming back on it. 2020 is an ambitious plan because, you see, we also have to be careful so that when we finalize decisions or enforce a decision, it doesn't become a drawback on one country. When you introduce a currency, you're going to print papers. The papers have to be supported by certain economic variables.
Yes.
The Commission is mindful that we do not introduce a single currency in terms of the numbers on the face of the papers. But that paper is stronger in Nigeria than it is in Guinea, because the economic activities in Guinea do not support the strength of that. So if care is not taken, people will get involved, and this is one of the terrible things that we don't want to see in Africa, money laundering.
Yes.
In that case, I can go to Guinea, where the currency is weak,
Yes.
and get more of it, and I can stay. ECOWAS is connected now through banking, and I can stay right in Guinea, transfer the money that I have gotten in a weaker economy, and come to Nigeria and withdraw a huge amount of money. So ECOWAS has established requirements or standards, convergence criteria. Now, some countries are doing exceptionally well in consistently meeting the requirements. Unfortunately, and I will shy away from listing some of the countries, but in general terms, some of the countries are struggling. Now, so that makes it an ambitious plan for us as a community to meet the 2020 requirement. But we do not want to take the difficulties as a yardstick to abort the plan.
Right.
What has been done is, by 2020, those countries that will be deemed qualified, for lack of a better word, in terms of their economy, can start, and then eventually other countries can join. So this time around, there will be no changing of a goalpost in the middle of the game, but there are a few players who will start, and some of the players can be on the bench, and later on we can
join up.
Okay, for your final words, Mr. Massaquio, I want to get you, what are the plans in place for countries that are going into elections like Nigeria and Senegal? Final words, please.
ECOWAS, from the parliament standpoint, has been very involved with what we call parliamentary diplomacy. You follow the situation in Sierra Leone, and after the election there was a standoff that would have caused ECOWAS insecurity. Of course, security is more costly. The parliament has made a case to the commission that we, the politicians, Those who are going into elections in Nigeria are our friends. Those who are going to elections in other countries are our friends. So there are plans, even in the budget now, in the Ecowas Parliament budget, there's an allocation to make sure that these elections are not just monitored, but even the preparatory stages that will lead to the election are carefully managed so that we don't run into electoral